This stuff here in Yerushalmi Shabbos in the article edition, we're on Daf Nun Zayin Rav, the third Daf Arba Kratigna, and that's 10 lines at the bottom of Memvav and Beis in the Vilna. Arba Kratigna, time Rabbi Yechanan. So yesterday we asked when Rabbi Yechanan are you allowed to be chayfer boros sichinim aros on Shemitah. So the Gemara says, Rabbi Kratigna says, but Rabbi Yechanan's basis that there's no law by Charisha. It says, Sheish tizra v'lo b'shvis. You should plant not during Shemitah. Sheish tizra kamecha v'lo b'shvis. Now, he says, lo b'shvis, next word, according to Gemara Kilayim, Daf Lamed Zayin, and a lot of the first Mir, Reb Chaim, Yerushalmi, I think, article as well. Yeah, he says it's a kol. So, kol. All. Any malacha, which is similar, these are pratim, and they're yetzim in a cloud. It says the cloud is shavs or shavs al Hashem, right? As we didn't mention here again, but we mentioned yesterday. And these are pratim. They're yetzim in a cloud l'lamed. So they teach us that kol, anything which is similar to these two malachas, which are malachas in, as we say, which improve the land, not just in the land, but improve the land. So no. Which malachas which make things grow from the land, not just improve the land. So anything which is similar to Zriya and Zmira is included in the cloud of Shabbos or Shabbos Hashem. But lo says shbo mikol chasei. Let's go put the word. I know there's been the word asehu. Hey, lo says which kinds of mikol chasei is an asay. So therefore, there's an asay on Charisha, perhaps, but not lo saseh. But it has to be again something. So the book is answering the question, saying it has to be something which works the land in order to produce, in order to grow stuff, not stuff which is, because that's what the pratim are talking about. They're talking about Zriya and Zmira, not just thinking boros sichinim aros. Okay, so let's get back to Charisha, right? So Charisha itself, is that not going to say? Fine, you just told me that the pratim here are telling us there's got to be something which works the land. And therefore, it grows something from the land. And therefore, chafiras, boros, sichinim aros is not included in that answer. What about Charisha itself? Is Charisha itself a mitzvah say? The one asks, over basay. By Charisha itself, over basay. Rabbi Yosef, I feel like saying, but Rabbi Yosef says, no, it's not even a mitzvah say. You're not even over a say if you're Chorish during Shemitah. Rabbi Yirmiyah over basay. Rabbi Yirmiyah says that you are over basay. So the Gemara asks, according to Rabbi Yosef, Laida mila ksiv Shabbos Hashem. What about the mitzvah say that the land should rest on Shemitah? What does Rabbi Yosef do with that? L'inyan lo saseh shabo. The mitzvah say, according to says Rabbi Yosef, only applies to those things which are also lo sasehs. So it's about custom litin aseh lo saseh. But if it's not one of the lo sasehs, and Charisha is not one of the lo sasehs, so therefore it's not explicit in the Torah, right? So therefore it's not as one of the laving. It's only so therefore Rabbi Yosef, it's not even mitzvah, not even over a say for Chodesh during Shemitah. The truth is, there's a lumdus here, I think, which is that when you plow, in the final analysis, at this point, it's only chafir sichim boros. He holds, obviously. It's only like you're only digging. Yes, it's preparation to plant, but it's not actually planting. So therefore, at this point, there is a logic to say, okay, of course, plowing is an essential component of any planting, but at this point, you're not planting. So therefore, maybe there shouldn't be there's no lab nor assay. Now we have a quote from a brisa. Yochel, you're looking at the Sefer. You get malchus if you do the avodas which are forbidden during Shemitah, during the Sefer Shemitah, which is the time before Shemitah, where you're not allowed to work your field. So, Rabbi Yochanan Pater Masnisa, Yochanan said, no, that's not the question. He's saying the question actually, so Sefer Shemitah is not talking about the time. before Shemitah, but rather the Brisa by Yochi de Charisha b'Shvius. It says Tosefes here means that which is added to Shemitah. Now, it doesn't say explicitly the Torah Charisha. So it's obviously not going to the right. It doesn't seem it's going like Rabbi Yasa. It could be, but it's going. Yochanan is saying that. Okay, we're claiming about Malchus, but it could be. I would say same thing. We're claiming about Malchus because if it was only going to mitzvah say also if there's only if there's Malchus. Okay, so it could work out. Take it back. So Yochi are looking at the Charisha b'Shvius. The Sefes, the additional thing which is not explicit in Torah, are you getting Malchus on that? Rabbi Lezer said, Patel the way, more conventional way, so to speak, Patel Masisa, Yochel looking out Easter Shnei Prakim Rishonim. He holds, you do get Malchus on Charisha. You get Malchus on the prohibition of the 2 Prakim, which the additional amount of time, which is from Pesach or from Shavuos, which are they're considered to be 2 periods of time, before Shemitah when you're not allowed to work the field. So there's the Malchus on that. East Tani. So those ones Sheishanim Tizmar Secha, Sheishanim Tizmar Karmecha. So let's see the Pnei Moshe on this. Klomar. The East Tani the Raik Haikra the Sheishanim Tizra V'lo B'Shvis. It says 6 years is planted not just Ulamid Zal Shar Avodas Karka Ain't over El Basay. Any other Avodas Karka only over Nasay. Messiah Rabbi Yochanan. That's evidence Rabbi Yochanan Kleel. Well, now I create Rabbi Yasa. Easter Daikra the Sulchan Lotiso Kugomer Lamid Al Klau Kulo. It's about all of it, but Dafka B'Shvis. For Tosef B'Shvis opposed to preclude Tosef B'Shvis for she's Messiah Rabbi Lezer, and that's evidently that's Rabbi Lezer. The issue is not Charisha, but the issue is Tosef B'Shvis. Let's read inside now. Istani Tani Sheshin Tizvas Dero Sheshin Tizmor Karmecha. Istani Tani Sadcha Lo Tizra V'Kamecha Lo Tizmor. Man, and its question is evidently how to Nebraisa. So when we learned Maseches Kilayim, we actually went with the alternative girsa of the Rashi on the Gra, and the article actually was down here in the Chuvah Girsos of Biurim. So we're going to go with the change of girsa here again, and which changes around the Pesukim. And it says that the Tana learns of Sheishanim Tizras Odecha, V'Sheishanim Tizmor Karmecha is evidence Rabbi Eliezer. And we learn from the Sheishanim, specifically 6 years, that their Charisha is not allowed in Tosef Shvis. There's no it's a mitzvah to add on, but it's not allowed. Whereas the second drasha, Sarcha Lo Tizra, the Karmecha Lo Tizmor, is evidence Rabbi Yochanan that's the only thing on which there is a lab. Those are the only things which lab during Shemitah, because these are ones that are specified, and that there is no additional prohibition on any other malacha which is a lab, including Charisha. So again, with that, according to that, we learn Mandamar Sheishanim Tizvas Odecha Sheish Tizmor Karmecha is Messiah Rabbi Eliezer. Right, it's telling us that the Surim are lavim only during Tosefes. Shvis, not during Tosefes Shvis. Mandamar Tzadcha Lo Tizor Karmecha Lo Tizmor Messiah Le Rabbi Yochanan. Okay, in other words, that only these 2 things are us as allowed, not Charisha. So when it says Masnisa Pliga Rabbi Eliezer. The following Bryce seems to argue on Rabbi Eliezer. So Rabbi Eliezer said earlier, yesterday we had seen it, Rabbi Eliezer says that a lav, which is Yetzim and Asay, can be Melamed and Asay. Right? Because that's even though the prat is a lav, and it can be Melamed on the Asay, with the cloud, which is an Asay. So the following Bryce seems to indicate that doesn't work. It seems Yishamer below Tasei. He says Yisham. Let's read the pasuk. It says. On this. For some reason, the article in Torah Shalom only was down the second pasuk. The Dvarim Yud Beis, Yud Gimel, Yud Daled. Hishamelecha, be careful. Pentaleh olasech b'chom makom asher tireh. Lest you bring your olos any place which you see. So, Isser of bring your olos outside the Beis Hamikdash. And Yishamer, as we're about to see, is a lot. Kima makom asher b'chai Hashem, that was supposed to be Yud Gimel. Because Yudah, Kima makom asher b'chai Hashem, chad shvatecha, only the place where Hashem chose. When Shvatim, Shom taleh olosecha, there you should do your olos. And then you should do everything which I command you. So that's a mitzvah say. So now the Gemara says that this Brisa says Yishamer below taseh. First pasuk said Yishamer. The same pasuk pen also pen below taseh. Uksiv, and then the next place it says, Sham taleh oser v'sham taseh, which the mitzvah say. So, Sham taleh zu aliyah. Sham taleh that's bringing on top of the mizbeach. Sham taseh, there you should do zu shchita zvika. That's slaughtering and throwing the blood. Ma aliyah shabaseh. So, since the aliyah, which is in Asay, in Pasuk Yudalit, is also in the Los Asay, in Pasuk Gimel, Av Shchita Uzrika Shem Ba'asay, so to Shchita and Zrika, which are linked together, Shem Taseh, are also below Taseh. You begin to see Shem Taseh, but it's only because they're linked together. Shanta Aseh, that the Aseh can be learned to go on the love. If not for that connection, which is made in Pasuk Yudalid, we couldn't go back and learn the Pasuk on the Aseh. We couldn't go back and learn the Pasuk Gimel about the love. We couldn't have learned that the pratim these pratim are yotzim nakal lamed, unless there was this explicit linkage made between the two. So what's it going to do with this? Ma'avedle, and the Korban changes gears here, obviously. Ma'avedle Rabbi Eliezer. That's what Rabbi Eliezer do with it. Rabbi Eliezer comes back to the Gemara comes back, or Rabbi Eliezer himself comes back to the distinction we made several times already. I'm not sure how many. That Lachlok enu chokin, lamed melamdin. And says that's what the Bryce is talking about here. The question is, how many lavin would you get? So he says, Shlo tamar command tamer gabe Shabbos. You shouldn't say like you say by Shabbos, where we say chafar choratz nots enu chayiv el achas. I say all tolodos are digging, making a groove, shoving something in, all the things in the ground. You only have one because they're all tolados. So too, I might say shachat zorg v'hela eno chayiv el achas. I say you only have one. They're all tolados of shutei chutz, avodas chutz, I guess. Avodas chutz. Lefunke tzorch meim chayiv v'kol achas v'achas. So that pasuk is going to tell us that you're chayiv on each and every one. In other words, each thing is l'chud and asiyah l'chud. But enochanami, the Bryce doesn't mean that you couldn't have learned out the lav and asay and lav the additional isurim. The question is how that we should be separate malchus. How do we know that? And that it says we couldn't learn out separate malchus. The chayiv separate lavin if from a lav and asay and a lav. If not for that hekesh of sham talev and sham taseh. Okay, now we make an abrupt change. Totally different sugya. Okay. Kol hein the tina avos yeshem tolodos. Anytime it says avos, there seem to be tolodos. Tama tninon, and we went over there in Baba Kama, arba avos nizikin. 4 overarching categories of nizikin. Hashor zeh keren. So the shore that we say is keren. Negicha udechifa of. Goring and pushing are both of keren. As the Kalina Shas points out, in the Babi Baba Kama, Negifa is which is the pushing, so there'd be a tolada. Yerushalmi holds that negifa and negicha, pushing, both goring and pushing, are both the of Karen. Tani Rabbi Chia said, Noshach, biting, ravatz, crouching, but kicking, tolodas l'Karen. Those are the tolodas of Karen. Tamatim learned over there in the Kalim. Avos Tuma, Hasheretz, B'shich Zero. So including Avos Tuma are Hasheretz, the rodent, and B'shich Zero. Tolodas Hasheretz Ma'ezu. What's the Tolod of Sheretz? So the Gemara says, Rabbi Yehuda B'Shem Rabbi Nachum said, Madafos. As Moshe points out, Madafos are a lotion of Tuma Kala, a lotion of Leni Duff, a wind which a leaf which is floating in the wind. So what Madafos? What are Madafos? Says the Gemara, Magos, something which touches the Sheretz, not the Sheretz itself. Avatumah is Hakol. An avatuma, which is the sheretz itself, is a matami everything. Vladatuma is something which touches the sheretz, ain't matami ela ochlin umashkin. It's only matame food and beverages, not autumn and kalim. The Gita Shas takes out the words ukli cheres here and says the word cheres is supposed to go in the next line. Three words hence. Ochlin umashkin ukli cheres ain't nasim avatuma. They can't become avatuma. They can never become an avatuma. The tame ziva, the matame and zav, because what a zav who is mishkav and moshav, something which he sits on or lies on, becomes itself an avatuma. But only something which is made for the ochlin and mashkin cheres can't become mishkav and moshav. They're excluded from that. So therefore, they are einasim avatuma tame ziva. Okay, it's kind of like a peripheral point, and some farshim evidently take out this line altogether. Here it says, so, of the 40 ab malachis, 39 ab malachis. Charisha of. Choresh is the of. Tani Rabbi Chia, Chafar Choretz, nuts. We had this language before. All these forms of digging holes are all to let us like Charisha. There's examples of Tolodas of Charisha. Kol Avos Mishkan Lamdu. Well, all the Avos Malachos we live in the Mishkan. Ma Charisha is in Mishkan. Fine. What Charisha were they doing in the Mishkan? Shoychoshim Litas Amamonim. They plow in order to plant dyes in order to dye the ureos in the Mishkan. Kama Yachosh Yechayev. How much do you are you chayev if you plow? What's the minimum share of plowing? So Rabbi Matanya Amar Kedei Litach Krisha, in order to plant a cress, which is some sort of vegetable. Rabbi Yaakov bar Rav said Kedei Litach Zachrusa Shel Chita. So the it says. I guess you don't have to plant the whole wheat kernel in the ground in order for it to grow. Just like the sharp part of the chita. It says it was only part of the kernel. Very much says Zachusa Shel Chita means the entire kernel. So that's the topic of sharing. The Gemara goes up a bit of tangent. Tamid Zarek should take out seeds of gourds. Shnaim, 2 seeds. Chayiv. It's not normally share of itself for food is grogeris, size of a date, but these seeds are not edible, so you're chayiv on 2 of them, even though it's a much smaller share than a grogeris because they're made for planting, not for eating. Zed luim, the same with gourd seeds, shnaim, chayiv on 2 of them. Zed mitzri, legume seeds, same thing. The Egyptian legume seeds, shnaim. But we learned tani chitim, wheat, chitim adios. Median wheat also stein. Why? It's edible as is. Be chayiv for grogeris, not for 2 seeds. Shmuel Shem Rabbi Zira said the same as this chiyadeshin chavivos. these, I'm not sure if only specifically the median wheat, but since they are precious to people, therefore, Susan, Kishar, Zirone, Chita, and Zagina, they made them like other garden seeds, which are not edible. And Shem Necholim, even though those are not edible, these are edible. Nevertheless, evidently they have, I guess since wheat is the basic crop, so therefore even the seeds are chashuv as seeds, not just as food, and therefore on 2-0 nechita you're chayiv as well. And that's it for today.